All right, if you followed the world of AI at all in 2025, you know it was just a nonstop, absolutely game-changing year. To help us all make sense of it, we're going to break down Simon Willison's fantastic year-end review. We're going to unpack the key trends that didn't just move the goalposts. No, they built a whole new stadium. So, let's just dive right in. Everything, and I mean everything, that happened in 2025 really comes back to this one single question. This was the year we moved beyond AI as just this super sophisticated parrot, simply guessing the next word in a sentence. This was a massive, seismic shift toward models that could actually think. And that ability, the ability to reason, is what unlocked every single breakthrough we're about to talk about. So where did this revolution even begin? It wasn't just about more data or bigger models. Not this time. It started with a really fundamental change in how we teach them. A whole new training technique that gave them a skill we'd honestly never seen before in the wild. Actual problem solving. The key was a technique called reinforcement learning from verifiable rewards, or RLVR for short. Now, instead of just relying on kind of subjective human feedback, models were trained on problems that have provably correct answers. Think math puzzles or coding challenges. This forced them to stop just predicting text and to start developing real strategies to get to the right answer. And this quote from Andrej Karpathy really gets to the heart of why this was so mind-blowing. The key word here is spontaneously. No one explicitly programmed these models to, show their work. They just figured out on their own that the best way to get the right answer was to break a problem down into smaller steps. And that emergent ability, well, that looks a whole lot like human reasoning to us. Now, solving puzzles in a lab was just the start. That was the training ground. The real power was unleashed when these new reasoning models were given a toolbox. I mean, imagine a brilliant mathematician who was suddenly handed a calculator, a computer, and full access to the internet. All of a sudden, they could create a plan, execute it, see the results, and adapt on the fly. That's exactly what happened to AI. And this new ability to reason and to use tools, it led directly to the first major effect of the year, the sudden, absolutely explosive arrival of AI agents that, well, they actually worked. For real this time. For years, we've all been promised this sci-fi dream of a perfect digital assistant that can do anything. That is not what we got in 2025. Instead, we got something way more practical and honestly probably more powerful. Specialized systems that could reliably pull off complex, multi-step tasks. The dream became reality, it just, had a specific job to do. And the breakout category for these new agents was, without a single doubt, coding. I mean, it was the perfect test bed, right? Write some code, run it, look at the error, and then reason about how to fix it. That loop was just a natural fit for this new paradigm, and boom, every major lab jumped in, releasing their own command line coding agents. And if you need any proof of just how massive this was, look at this number, $1 billion. That was the run rate revenue for Anthropic's Claude Code, a command line tool, by the end of the year. This wasn't some niche toy for developers, it was a commercial juggernaut. So, this new agent capability didn't just create new products, it triggered a seismic shock that completely reshuffled the entire industry. Seriously, by the end of 2025, the leaderboard looked nothing like it did at the start of the year. Just look at this table. These are the top open weight models at the end of the year. The top 5 spots, all of them from Chinese labs. OpenAI is just barely hanging on there at number 6. This wasn't just a small shift, it was a complete and total changing of the guard in the open source community. At the exact same time, Google's Gemini division was having a phenomenal year. I mean, this timeline just shows a relentless pace of innovation. From the Gemini 2.0 release early in the year, to that breakthrough Nano Banana image model, all the way to announcing Gemini 3.0. They weren't just competing anymore, they were setting the pace. So the result of all of this was a completely new status quo. OpenAI, who had been the undisputed leader for years, was now fighting a war on multiple fronts against some seriously powerful new competitors. And Meta? Well, their llama models were the darlings of 2024, but it seems like they misread the market completely, releasing these bloated, inefficient models and just losing all their momentum in the open weight race. But of course, this incredible new power, it came with a dark side. The final major effect of the reasoning revolution was a head-on collision with a whole new class of deeply concerning problems in security and, ethics. This quote just perfectly captures the new dilemmas we were facing.
It's from Anthropic's own documentation for Claude 4, and it set off an absolute firestorm online. I mean, where do we draw the line? Should an AI just be a tool, or should it be a mandatory informant? This whole question of high agency models became a central and very heated ethical debate. This all led to a really dangerous phenomenon, one that was first identified after the Challenger space shuttle disaster, the normalization of deviance. What happened was developers started running agents in what they called YOLO mode. You only live once, which basically means turning off the safety features to move faster. And every single time they did it and nothing catastrophic happened, the risky behavior just seemed a little more normal, pushing us closer and closer to a major disaster. Simon Willison actually coined a term for the most severe risk here, the lethal trifecta. And let's be super clear, this isn't just about jailbreaking a model to make it say something it shouldn't. No, this is the nightmare scenario where an attacker uses prompt injection to turn your own AI agent against you, tricking it into actively stealing your private data. Okay, so on a bit of a lighter note, 2025 also gave us a very, very quirky new benchmark. It sounds like a total joke, but asking an AI to draw a pelican riding a bicycle, it became a surprisingly useful test. It requires this deep understanding of physics and the animal anatomy and how objects interact, all things that are hallmarks of a model that has a really robust internal world model. And that brings us to the big question as we head into 2026. The whole challenge is shifting. It's no longer just about building more and more powerful agents. Now, the hardest problem might actually be proving that they work safely and reliably. We need these robust test suites, what some people are calling conformance suites, to actually verify these incredibly complex systems. The race for pure capability might just be giving way to the age of verification.